You guys ready?
Yep.
Helen says she is.
We're just about live there. We are live.
Are we live?
We are live. Yes, sir.
And call a meeting of the Broadwater County Commissioners order for the rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning. We will open the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment on a subject not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we will go through the mail here. I have, let's see, payroll claim in the amount of $207,295.19.
Can you give that amount again, Mike? I'm sorry.
$207,295.19.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $207,295.19.
I will second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to pay payroll claims in said amount. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. And then we have receipts for $90 from the Silos Campground for gazebo rent and a refund from Mako for refund for training. And we have minutes from January 11th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve minutes as submitted?
I will move to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve minutes for January 11th, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Was Nicole coming over?
No comment.
Huh?
No, sir, no comment.
I don't think she has a COS.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go ahead to our 1010 Broadwater County Liability Insurance Update. Julie is appearing.
Good morning.
Good morning, Julie.
Let me have the renewal apps here.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is just going over the renewal application for the county. The first, it expired, obviously it's a 6/30/21 renewal. I have the designated safety coordinator as Mike Myers. The property deductible is at $2,000. Auto physical damage liability or deductible is $2,500. Crime deductible is $2,000. Number of employees is 72. That does not include the sheriff's office. The liability deductible is $2,000. The E&O deductible is $5,000, and the auto liability deductible is $2,000. I have a total number of 4 nurses, and no other emergency professionals. I have the county appointed board checklist. I have the fair, airport, mosquito, planning, health, museum, TV, refuge, weed, others, the silos area, Broadwater Trust, Parks and Recreation, mental health, local advisor council, local emergency planning committee, investment committee, library, community, child protective team, mental health, local advisory committee. Are there any others that I missed?
I wonder if local advisory council and the mental local advisory committee are the same, is that, or is there another local advisory council?
I think that's the same.
I think it's the same.
Okay, so how would you want me to, which one do you want me to keep?
I
And
would keep the mental health local
okay,
advisory committee.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that. Total number of appointed members as of right now is 68. Volunteers is 94. The Broadwater County, we sponsor the events on the general liability for the Townsend Farmers Market, Broadwater Rodeo Fair and Parade, Lions Easter Egg Hunt that's on the courthouse lawn, and National Day of Community Service. Number of law enforcement officers is 26. The deductible is $5,000 for the law enforcement. And then there's 4 questions that I need to ask. In the past year, has any person, former employee, or job applicant made any claim alleging unfair or improper treatment regarding hiring, advancement, or termination? And that has not been turned in. And I have no. I think we've turned everything in that's pertinent to all of these. But in the past year, has any disputes involving integration, segregation, discrimination, or violation of civil rights occurred? And I have no. And then, do you follow a formal written grievance procedures for employees' disputes and complaints? Yes, you do. Do you have knowledge or information of any incident or occurrence which may give rise to a claim being made? And as of right now, no. And then we have the zoning commission liability deductible $10,000, ethical violation liability $10,000, floodplain regulation enforcement liability $10,000. And then I have attached the list from the appraisal of the county properties that we have insured. I have also listed or added the list of all the properties that we do not insure that the county owns. And if there's any I missed, and that's on, I think it's on one of the backer page. And then I went through the vehicles and equipment schedules with Sheriff Meehan and Josh, the Public Works Director. So I think we're pretty good on all of that. And I attached them list too.
I guess what I'm looking for, Julie, is, we have a new jump vehicle trailer. Has that been?
What was the cost of it?
I don't remember.
Okay, I do not have a new trailer on here.
Okay.
Just have them contact me with the year, make, VIN, and
Yep.
value.
Yep.
If it's under 2,500, you know.
It'd be more than that.
Okay, oh, then definitely, yeah.
Okay.
What about this 53 GMC truck?
I think we've determined with Josh that the county does not own that, so I'll be removing that.
Okay.
I know in the future, we do have some grants out to do a security upgrade for the courthouse. And then we are getting a new generator as well.
Okay, and
So
Sheriff
what-
Wynn had told me about that.
Yeah,
So,
it'll
we'll-
probably be midsummer sometime.
okay,
We just have to keep that in mind.
yep, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and when, as soon as it's installed, we can add it.
Okay, all right. Now, this last page, Julie, the stuff that's out of the silos, this is stuff that is
Yes,
insured?
that's what's insured out there.
Okay,
And that's from the county appraisal.
okay. So the gazebos are not insured? Is that?
Nope.
They're not, okay.
Thank you, Julie, for providing
You're
the
welcome.
silos
Yep.
doc stuff to us.
Okay.
Are these docks covered in any way if we have an ice storm or something that tears them up?
Yes, they
They
are.
are?
Mhm.
Okay. Were the buildings out at the Canyon Ferry Airport, were they taken off?
They were
They
taken
were?
off.
Okay.
Yep.
When we get done with all the new generator for the courthouse, do we just have to add that on then?
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
I'll just need the information on the generator, the value,
okay.
yep.
Anybody have any further questions or
Nope.
for Julie?
I don't.
I do need a signature that we went through it.
If we look this over after a while, if there's something we can change, I'm sure we can do that, right?
Absolutely, yep, at any time.
Thank you.
So is that the signature page?
Yeah, whenever anything's purchased or anything, let me know right away, because if it's not on it, we need the coverage. Pretty
We
important.
do.
Do you just need two? Julie?
Yeah, you can sign it also if you want. I mean, but we're
Okay.
good.
Oh, okay.
I just said agent, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's me.
That's me.
Okay.
Do you need anything else from me?
I don't believe we do, no.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you
Thanks.
guys very much.
So next, department heads updates, Public Works Supervisor Josh Obert.
I think you skipped something,
We
right?
skipped
What did we skip?
that.
Oh, the silos recreation, sorry. Okay, so what we have here is the two proposals for silos recreation area management agreement from Debbie Blag, Townsend Canyon Ferry, Lake KOA, and from
Up at the top there, Mike.
Canyon Ferry Enterprises Incorporating, doing business as Goose Bay Marina and Campground, doing business as Gallatin Canyon Campgrounds. So these will be opened and reviewed by the review team, and the electronic flashcards will be sent to people on the committee. We have a meeting tomorrow at 1, right?
10.
10.
10.
To review these packets, and then a discussion decision to award Silos Recreation Area Management Operation Agreements on 10 o'clock on Wednesday, January 27th. So that's the schedule for those two. Okay, next, department heads update, Josh Obert.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Gosh.
So from the road department side, we just finished up with a 6-month budget evaluation, and we've had some pretty big plan to modify the structure of the road department and to be able to split it into districts and hire on a fifth member of our road crew. Within the next month, I'll be putting a formal proposal together to bring to the commission to be able to change to where we have 3 distinct road districts in the county, and we'll have a maintenance district worker for each district, and then it'll allow us to have a 2-person projects crew, which will allow us to work on minor projects around the county without the general everyday maintenance going by the wayside for each district. On the solid waste side, I'll be working on the 6-month kind of budget review for that this week. And we have several topics that are going to be coming up on this Thursday's Solid Waste Board meeting, which is the free pile, which I know is a big topic around town right now. The MOU with Lewis and Clark, and we sold our recyclable metal pile in the tail end of June. Our pile has grown substantially, so we're putting out to vendors to come down and take a quote to see what we can get if we were to recycle our metals again. The market's is quite a bit farther up than it was in July when we sold. So if we do well with that and what we made from July's, we're hoping to be able to purchase some backup equipment. A lot of the equipment on the solid waste side is well used and needing some either some replacement or upgrade. We're hoping to do it with the profit we make from the recyclable metal, so where we don't have to, we're not asking for more. We'll be able to fund it as the enterprise fund was intended, being able to operate on our own means. On the weed board side, we have several new members coming up, so that's kind of where we're at. Our weed members for the weed board coming up. That's kind of the big point for them. And on the mosquito board, Jess is still working on trying to finalize an expansion to the mosquito district in the county. Any questions?
Yeah, Josh, why don't you speak to us about new hook truck and scale, if that's still in the plan?
So the hook truck right now is one we're hoping scale personally was when I got here. It's something that this solid waste side very much needs. I want a scale so we can accurately weigh and measure, and that way we're not working off of estimates when people come up to the transfer station to dispose of their solid waste. We're in a balancing act right now, trying to decide what is of more value. Our hook truck, there is no replacement for that. If it goes down, we're in a bind and we have to rent a backup hook truck. I have been working with Great West Engineering. They've come down and done a preliminary inspection. They're going to do a full formal PER, professional engineering review of our facilities, and see what grant options are out there for us. And we're hoping to be able to use some of the TSEP and some grant money to be able to do some upgrade to our facility, purchase scale, and if not, then we'll have to balance whether every piece of equipment solid waste has been down for major repair this year. So far in the 7 months I've been here, every piece of equipment we've had. So right now we're just kind of balancing what is the highest need for that department and trying to get whether it's we get a second hook truck and a second transfer station truck, or we get a scale and a hook truck. But the hook truck is definitely an immediate need. We have no backup for that. It is getting to where it has a lot of miles on it. We just lost the turbo on it last month. It was down for 4 or 5 days, and we ended up having to rent a hook truck, which is not exactly cheap because there are not many of them out there. And so that's kind of the plan there. I've looked around and got some price estimates on what to modify one of our existing pieces of equipment into a hook truck is, and to buy a new hook. Trying to find a used hook is nigh on impossible. Most people just swap the hook from one piece to another as they're upgrading their equipment. So finding a backup hook has been challenging. There are used hook trucks out there that are right around the same price as if we were to purchase a new hook. So it's still I'm still investigating what's the best path forward there. I don't want to just jump in and kind of get the county in a bind by purchasing something that we may be able to find a better deal on. And we're hoping to use this second batch of recyclable metal to help fund this to where we don't have to come asking for more money.
Okay. So we got enough metal there already that pretty substantial?
We're about not quite half of what we had when we sold in July.
Really?
So we're doing very well this year with recyclable metal.
Good.
Any other questions?
I guess maybe with the winter we've had so far, I'm guessing there probably has hopefully been some savings on the road department side as far
There
as
has. We're doing very well on our budget. We're actually running about 18% under. So if we do go to modify and hire on an additional personnel, we'll be able to do that completely out of our budget without having to request additional funding. And we have a decent CIP. We've got a path forward where we'll be able to pick up the additional grader we'll need all within our own budget without having to come to you and ask for more money. But we're 18% underspent for halfway through the year.
all right, good.
And that was kind of by design. recognize I've been working with you, Mr. Fulford, Commissioner Fulford, about breaking the county into districts to where we have a dedicated maintenance worker for that district. Right now, currently, we're roading our machinery back and forth in a zigzag pattern, chasing the worst of the roads all over, which on a $300,000 piece of equipment leaves us with a lot of non-working window time, which on a very expensive piece of equipment, that's the last thing you want.
Sure. I guess recently we just got our notification of our BARSA allocation. Have you given some thought to what kind of projects you'd like to use that for?
For this one, I think since Goose Bay is probably going to push until summer of 2022, we'll allocate that as our Fed match and then have it as the backup Fed match or road maintenance. And then this year's BARSA that we had allocated for either Goose Bay or road maintenance, we'll use that money that we had this year to do some crushing of gravel. In the past, they crush in bulk, and then that way we're good for several years. So we'll most likely allocate the road maintenance portion of the BARSA funding for year 2020, 2021 for crushing gravel. It's a pretty big expense, so this would get us a long ways.
All right, good. Have you identified any gravel pits down in the southern part of Broadwater County that we could use?
We have. We were working with Gene Goss right before he sold his property. He has an additional pit down there, but I was talking with the engineers, and he said the state has actually been trying to make it more lucrative for them to open up gravel pits on their properties. There are some there's some state land on the other side of Hilltop Road if you go towards the east of the highway, and they're offering a pretty decent rate there for cubic yards. So we'll probably end up taking some samples out there to see if we can find a more lucrative pit than hauling from Lone Mountain all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
South end of the county, with the road construction this year, we didn't get to do near as much hauling as we had hoped for, and especially with the pit we're closing down there currently, we don't have access to anything more.
All right. I guess that's all I had. You got?
I don't have anything else. You got anything?
Thank you,
Jenny?
Josh.
No problem.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Josh. DES Coordinator Brittany Willis.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, update on a few of the things DES has been working on. My current EMPG grant is funded through, or the application goes through Funding Montana. So it's now switching over. 2021 and 2022 is going through a new application called AmpliFund. So Montana DES has been putting on training for us to learn how to do that, and Mike Myers and I have been doing the training, and that's due at the end of February. I've been working with the Broadwater Community Foundation to get these bleeding control kits. She is requesting about 16 of them, and we have all the locations for them. So I was going to get together with Cyrus Brandt, our paramedic, and then the fire department has a couple of EMTs as well that will possibly help with training, just basic bleeding care and how to stop bleeding in time. And then, I don't know if you guys have been down to the basement. There are a bunch of files down there. So I've been digitizing all of them, putting them all in the computer system. I'm currently working on 2 independent study courses that are required by the state. For my grant, I have to have so many every quarter. So right now we're doing cybersecurity and emergency operation command plans. Next Wednesday, we have training and a tour of the Toston Dam so that we have a better idea of emergency plans if anything were to happen, how long we have, who we need, equipment, all that stuff. And then last Thursday, we just successfully had our first Zoom LEPC meeting, and it went well, so we will be able to get back on track with having those monthly.
Good. That tour out at the dam's an awesome tour, and I think it's open to host anybody, so, if you wanted to go.
Excuse me, when is that
Debbie?
again?
Next Wednesday morning, I don't remember the date, the 3rd, the 2nd, or the 3rd?
I'll email you.
Yep,
Okay.
I'll send
Or
you.
let me know.
And sometimes they do evening ones as well. So if you can't do that one, you can always do an evening, but it's definitely worth
Yeah, I'd
going
like to
to.
do that.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions?
Quick question, the 16, I think you said 16 bleeding kits, have they been allocated throughout the community, or?
Well, she does have an idea of where she wants them. So like each school bus, elementary school, middle school, high school, sheriff's office, detention center, courthouse. I'd have to look at my list, but there's 16 total places, so.
can you tell us how they be used?
And so we were going to try to tie it in with an active shooter training, because that was kind of where, with as crazy as 2020 was, that was kind of the idea. So if anything were to happen, several people around the community, not just EMTs and paramedics, would be able to control bleeding out first, and it's just basic AMR or EMT care. So it has stuff like gauze to help, and then an Israeli bandage helps put pressure on it, and just wherever, it depends on what it is. So Mike Myers and I looked up kits last week. They're averaging about $100 a kit. So, but she's getting the funding from the state. She's putting in for a grant for the money.
All right.
That's Carol Plymall with Broadwater Community Foundation.
Okay. Is there going to be any training involved in the use of them or anything like that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, that was once we get them in, we wanted to work with Cyrus Brandt to do training for everybody.
All right, good. So you mentioned the active shooter. Are you working on an active shooter program at all, or?
Well, Mike Conkey started one,
Mhm.
and he has the full printout for them, and then COVID hit and nothing happened, and then whenever he asked the school about it, the school said they just wanted to get through the school year and deal with COVID first. So
Sure.
maybe come spring, when everything is kind of evened out, we'll bring it up again. I already kind of talked to Eric Wilkerson about it a little bit, and he was on board.
Okay.
So now it's just setting time and date.
All right, good. I guess if that happens, that's something you pursue, that I would suggest getting a hold of Brandon at our sheriff's office, and he'll be a great resource for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Just make a note, we have Sheriff Meehan, sorry, on here. It says that when it comes to his time, just let him know the number is to call.
I didn't hear that.
Sheriff Meehan said that he's online, and he says whenever it comes time for his
Oh,
time to speak,
gotcha.
just let him know and he'll
Okay.
call. He needs the number.
Okay, let's see. Next, the updated discussion decision on county mask policy within county buildings.
Well, I guess I'll start. I mean, I know we had this, a lot of questions asked of us what our policy is going to be in the county buildings, and we were waiting for Governor Gianforte's executive order so that we could follow that. And now that that's out, I believe that is what our policy follows. And I can just read a part of that. It says, per Governor's Executive Order 2-2021, a face covering that covers the mouth and nose shall be worn at all times in indoor spaces open to the public. And all of our county buildings are spaces that are open to the public, so I believe that is what we are following. So I think that's what we're asking everyone to do is when you come to the courthouse or this building or any county building or health department, please wear your face mask.
And I think the events of last week where we had to close down the clerk and recorder's office, and basically that whole floor had to get shut down for business because we had to clean it, and then all the people are out of office, people can't get services, so I think that that's the least you can do is wear a mask inside our building so we can maintain our business presence and keep things flowing as they're supposed to be instead of getting held up all the time because we're cleaning up or people are sick all the time. So your cooperation would be deeply appreciated all the time when we do that. Does anyone have anything else on it?
No, I think we should sign it and post it.
Did you get it? Did you have a copy of that?
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, 1045 decision. Community Development Planning, Nicole Brown, amended protective covenants for Riverview Estates Phase A and B.
Morning.
Morning.
I did not bring copies. I trust that you have them from last week still.
Yep.
Okay. So, just to recap, these are the amended or proposed amended covenants for the Riverview Estates Phases A and B. What I'm asking you to approve today is the amendment to the Commission required covenant. It's highlighted as item number 15D. And it states direct access from any lot onto River Road shall be allowed so long as a driveway approach permit is approved by Broadwater County and the lot seeking River Road direct access is directly adjacent to River Road. And I have notarized signatures of each of the lot owners in both of those developments, if you wish to see those again.
So I think part of our discussion from last week was on that road would be a shared driveway, right?
That could be a
access-
request.
That, yeah.
Mhm.
Was part of the concern is we didn't want to have an excessive amount of approaches onto River Road, and I think we realized too that part of that, it has to be approved by our road department or our public works supervisor, right?
That is correct.
Nicole, you have also in here on page 1, number 2 highlighted.
That's correct.
Is that something?
That is an amendment,
That's
but
an
that's not
amendment.
for the board to approve.
Okay.
That is not a commission required covenant. And there's also a portion of number 6 that's highlighted as a change as well, but again,
So the only one we're dealing with is 15D.
15D, that's correct.
Do all of these lots that have access to River Road also have access to the interior road?
Yes.
Okay.
These other amendments that you have here are not really our concern, right?
They are not.
Yeah,
No,
no.
in fact, you wouldn't even be seeing them if we weren't bringing forward a commission required covenant to amend. And by we, again, full disclosure, my husband and I own a lot in Riverview Estates Phase A. So we are signers on this. But the subdivision residents could make those amendments without your knowledge, without my department's knowledge. The only department that would actually have knowledge would be the clerk and recorder's office when they receive those documents.
I appreciate you letting us know that. I guess I don't have an issue with this request. I know that there is additional access to the interior road as well, and the fact that the county has to approve that approach permit, I think, gives us an opportunity to ensure we don't have too many roads out there, or driveways.
Do you have anything, Debbie?
I don't.
I think I would agree with Commissioner Folkford in that we have control over how much access is. That's not really a ideal situation to end up with 6 or 7 or 8 driveways coming onto that road up there, but they do have access to the other roads, so hopefully the property owner will take that into consideration. And then it does fall on our Public Works Director to maintain safety on that portion of the road, so I think it's pretty well covered. So I would entertain a motion to approve the covenants amended for Riverview Estates Phase A and B.
All right, I'll make that motion. I move that we approve the amended protective covenants for Riverview Estate Phases A and B, and specifically 15D as in Delta.
I will second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the amended protection covenants for Riverview Estates Phase A and B. Is there any public comment? Any further comment? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, before you go, Nicole, is part of our, what am I trying to say?
Administrative.
Yeah,
Board appointments?
yeah, board appointments, yep.
I anticipated you wanting to discuss this, so I brought my file.
Consent agenda, that was what I was looking for.
Consent agenda,
Thank you.
that's the
Thank you.
word.
Okay.
Right there.
That's the word. So we do have Weed Board and Solid Waste Board applicants and vacancies. I did not make copies of these. I'll read them into the record first. They're brief, and then I'll pass them around. So this is for the 2 vacancies on the Solid Waste Board. Get my correct paperwork here. We previously had 3 vacancies on the Solid Waste Board. At the last meeting, you appointed Daniel Davis. So we currently have 2 vacancies on the Solid Waste Board. The first letter of interest is from Frank Davis, dated January 21st, 2021. I, Frank Davis, who reside at 643 U.S. Highway 12 East, Townsend, Montana, am writing this to those who oversee Broadwater Solid Waste Board. I'm writing this as showing intent to serve on this board for the next term. Frank Davis. Mr. Davis is a current Solid Waste Board member, seeking reappointment. The second letter, this is from Virgil Binkley. Commissioners, I am submitting my name to be considered for a position on the Solid Waste Board. I have been a member of the Planning Board in the 1990s and also at this time a member of the Broadwater Trust Board. Respectfully, Virgil Binkley.
And we haven't heard anything from John Williams, huh?
That is correct, I have not.
Who was the first one from?
Frank Davis?
Oh, okay.
Nicole, do you want motions on each one individually, or how? How do
I
you-
feel like that would be preferential. And then we can move on to the weed board if you want to do that as well.
I would move to accept Frank Davis for a reappointment on the solid waste board. And all of these are for 3 years, correct?
That is correct, yes.
I will second that motion.
Motion been made, and seconded to appoint Dan to, do we have to reappoint Daniel Davis?
You already did
We've
last
already
week,
done
so
that.
just Frank Davis.
Oh, we already did that, okay,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Motion been made to approve Frank Davis and Virgil Binkley for the solid waste board.
The motion was just Frank Davis.
Yeah.
Just Frank Davis, okay. Is there a second?
I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Frank Davis as a member of the solid waste board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Who's up next?
Weed board. Or Virgil Binkley for solid waste board.
Okay.
Or do you want to continue with that?
What other,
Yes, that's
what
your-
other board, we were looking at weed board?
Weed board.
Did we already do the weed board? No, let's do the weed board then.
Okay. So at last Tuesday's meeting for the weed board, we have 3 vacancies and 4 applicants. You made a motion to appoint Gord Pierce and Todd Kiddo. So currently, I have an application from John Ferret and a Weston Munns. And I can read their letters again if you'd like. This is from John Ferret. Hello, I am writing to inform you of my wish to continue to sit on the Broadwater County Weed Board. Hopefully this next year will find us with great progress in advancing our program and getting past our delays of the pandemic. I look forward to continuing to serve our community and thank you for the consideration. John Ferret. And then I also have an email from Weston Munns. Okay. He states, Nicole, Don Hedinger suggested that I apply to be on the weed board to replace him. I have never served on a board, but think it would be interesting to know more about how to control weeds. And you can use this email as my letter of interest to serve on the weed board.
Nicole, I didn't bring it with me, and I apologize, but the policy regarding boards, I don't know if we call it term limits, but
We do
What
have
is
in
that
here, all terms will be, and I'm taking just the term limit portion out of our policy instead of reading the whole thing, but I can. It says all terms will be for 3 years. Board positions may be limited to 2 terms.
Is that, now that we're appointing these people to 3-year terms, so if someone has just a 1-year term in the previous, does that count as a full term or not?
I would say it's a full term. It's an appointment of a term. No different than the 2-year terms that were appointed.
And going into the future, so we don't really have these people that have just been serving 1 year on boards, right? Or everybody we have.
Everybody from here on out will be 3-year terms, or to fulfill a term of a vacancy that was created prior to the term ending, if that makes sense.
and if they do that, they will just fill out that term.
That's correct, and they will have to reapply, even if filling out that term consists of 2 or 3 months.
Thank you.
Well, no, Wes lives on the backside of the lake there, and would probably be a great replacement for Don. I guess that would be my suggestion. I move that we appoint Weston Munns as new member of the weed board.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Weston Munns to the vacancy on the weed boards. Any public comment? Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
I'm going to take this time, if I can, just to reiterate the vacancies I have on the board, just for the public's knowledge. On boards, I'm sorry. So for the airport board, I currently have 1 vacancy. Compensation board, I have 1 vacancy. The Towns and Area Mosquito Board, I have 1 vacancy. The Three Forks Area Mosquito Board, I have 3 vacancies. The Historical Society Board, I have 1 vacancy. The Planning Board, I have 3 vacancies. The TV District Board, I have 3 vacancies. The Parks and Recreation Board, I have 3 vacancies.
Okay, so at our airport board meeting last week, I think that there is someone interested in that, so
Good,
we'll make sure that they get a letter to you.
perfect.
All right,
Okay,
thank you, Nicole.
thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Okay, next 10:55. Broadwater County Sheriff's Office, Win Meehan, Missouri River Drug Task Force Memorandum of Understanding.
He needed a phone number to call in.
What phone number does he call in? I don't see that. I don't have that either.
You type it back,
Yes.
type back this number.
Thank you.
Hello,
Good morning.
good morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. Good morning, Darrell. Good morning, Deb.
Morning. Oh,
Do
he needs
you,
to turn off.
I think you need to mute your computer, Win. We're
I think
getting,
I do.
we're getting the feedback here.
How's that?
Perfect.
Better.
Perfect. So, is there any? Have you guys had a chance to review the MOU? I think it's a little different than the previous one. I think, and part of it is just with some of the things that have come down through the pipe from the executive order from President Trump, and just some in regards to community policing things. I think there's some of the changes you might have seen in that. Outside of that, the only other real major change that I can see is the kind of what they're going to do. So they're not, in the past it's been, they've assisted with some more of a personal use cases where we get people that have, let's say they have an 8 ounce of methamphetamine, or maybe it's a gram or 2 of heroin, and they're not going to engage in those particular cases anymore. They're more driven towards the trafficking and organized, I guess, being organized crime component. So they're just not going to be down here for everybody who gets caught with personal use. So those are the 2 real big changes I saw. Other than that, everything else looked good. So.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like it was pretty well spelled out in there as to the duties everybody had in regards to administration and things of that nature.
And we don't have, we used to get funding for this, and none of you been there since we've had it. You know, it was a minimal amount, when I was assigned to MRDTF, we got paid basically for 13 hours a week. And that just, it wasn't, I ended up spending, 30 hours to 40 hours a week working archives cases. So getting reimbursed, and it became it became very problematic with accounting, because we always had these evaluations and report forms and all this other stuff that really took up a lot of time, not only my time, but also Debbie's time in the accounting office. So for the little amount of $7,000 a year, we got away from it, and now we strictly just rely on their assistance. So there's no monetary cost for Broadwater County, as you can see through there as well, like we used to in the past. So I think that's about it.
Yep. All right, I don't have any more questions.
I don't have anything. Looks good to me.
So I'm going to try to get in this afternoon. If you guys want to sign that, then throw it in my mailbox there in the accounting office, and I'll just grab it, and I'll catch up with Corey and have him sign it, and I'll get it scanned and sent back to the task force office. So.
Okay.
Okay.
They'll entertain. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. I just had one more thing, but go ahead and do your motion.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Missouri River Drug Task Force Memorandum of Understanding fiscal year of 2022 to fiscal year 2023.
You want to do that, Debbie?
I would move to accept the Missouri River Drug Task Force Memorandum of Understanding fiscal year 22-23.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Motion been made and second to approve the Missouri River Drug Task Force MOU. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You bet.
The only thing I wanted to share, because my undersheriff is so diligent and does a good job, and he wanted me to give you guys an update on where we are financially real quick. Our cash reserves currently, as we sit, $486,576, which is a lot better than where we anticipated. Expenditures were for even over through 6 months of the year. We've only expended 43% of our budget. Now, part of that obviously is because of the vehicles that we ordered still haven't come in, and we still have some vacancies within the staff. So those are two big reasons why we're down. Our overtime's probably a little high, just because we have three people in the academy right now. So our overtime gets up there a little bit. The other one is our revenue is 54% of what we expected, and one of the reasons for that obviously is with COVID. The movement of inmates has gotten stagnant, and so we've held quite a few people in the jail that we weren't anticipating because DOC wasn't moving people, Lewis and Clark, in places like that because of the COVID. And so we've been really fortunate, hopefully with that, being able to have that revenue coming in that we weren't expecting. That will help us when we get into the budget cycle and when we start looking at what we need to do with that public safety mill. So it's been a pretty decent year, and I think we're sitting fairly well for where we're at. So the undersheriff was due diligent this morning and got me those numbers, and so I wanted to give you guys a quick update on that, even though it was a non-agenda item. So just wanted to share that.
Okay, thanks, Win.
Perfect. Thank you, Win.
Do you guys have any questions of me?
Nope.
Do not.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Win.
Have a great meeting. Bye-bye.
Okay, next, decision to sign the Townsend Airport environmental categorical exclusion.
All right, so I have that, and part of what this deals with is the airport project that is scheduled to hopefully start in 2023, and we're right now, it's still in the engineering phases, or I should say, we're not even in the engineering phases, we're still in the talking about it phase. So along with that is the FAA requires us to sign this categorical exclusion, and what this does is allows the FAA to study this without the having to do a full-on blown environmental assessment or impact statement. Since the impact out there for what they're planning to do is relatively small and insignificant, what we're not, we would like to maybe move this project along a little bit quicker without having to do that. So the project involves resurfacing the runways and taxiways and possibly expanding the hangar space to the south because they're running out of hangar space. On the certification, I'll just read this. It says, we recognize and agree that no construction activity, including but not limited to site preparation, demolition, or land disturbance shall proceed for the above proposed project until the FAA issues a final environmental decision for the proposed projects. So it's just want to make sure that nothing's going to be done out there without final approval, and this is just allowing them to move ahead with this exclusion. Any questions for me?
Does this just deal with areas outside of the existing runway and taxiways?
No, it actually just with the existing ones. Yeah, nothing outside of, other than, maybe I should, that might not be true. They are planning to design where they would like to have additional hangar space.
Okay.
But that would be to that area to the south, which the airport already owns. And yeah, other than that, everything else is the same as what's out there right now.
So is there a motion to sign the airport environmental category exclusion?
I would move to sign the Townsend Airport environmental categorical exclusion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the Townsend Airport environmental categorical exclusion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Okay. I guess I'm listed as the point of contact on here. Do you want me to sign it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sign it?
I bet I'll sign it.
Okay. Maybe put your title on below that too, Mike. Oh, good. I'll get that sent off.
Does Ann need to record that or not?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, next item, sign the task order amendment number 21074-311030 for COVID immunization services. Teresa Munson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So this task order, we spoke briefly about the government giving us a little extra money for vaccine administration. So this is actually an amendment to the original task order. The amount that we normally get from the immunization program for that grant is $51.53, and so we're getting an additional $38.49, which gives the total grant amount $9,002. This is federal money set aside for COVID administration, education, communication with the public, and just for proper storage and handling of the vaccine and on-site or mass vaccination efforts for the health department. We, of course, we're hoping for more, but there is still some talk about some additional money for vaccine administration coming down. Depends on what the new president does. So anyway, we'll take what we can get for sure. And so this is just an amendment. There actually is no there's no other deliverables that go along with it, just the ones that we normally do every quarter. So that's good. And just need a signature, and it's payable upon receipt of signature. So.
All right. Well, that's a good start. I know
Yeah.
we had a discussion of how we were going to handle that, and it looks like maybe this is a
Yeah.
bit of an answer to that, so that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I hope more comes down the pike, but like I said, that's going to depend on what President Biden does, so. Yep. So if you guys want to sign that, and you can put it in our mailbox, and we'll pick it up.
Are you getting more vaccine in this week then, or are you getting shipments every week?
Yes, we'll be getting shipments. As far as we know, we're supposed to be getting shipments every week. And so I just got the email this morning. It has been shipped, so it should arrive on Wednesday. And then we already have the 100 doses, the second doses for the first 100 doses. I'm not sure where the hospital is with the distribution of the 100 doses that they got, but they took our list and we're working off of that. And I know they were going to do it in an electronic form just so it'd be easier to send back and forth who they got done, and then, you know, we'll put down who we got done and send it back to them. So it sounds like it's just going to kind of go back and forth, and then if they get more, then it's possible that we both could get an allocation. So it just depends on, we're hoping that Johnson & Johnson will get emergency approval for their vaccine soon. So it's just kind of a week-by-week thing. So.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I have a question on another grant after we're done with this.
So is there a motion to approve the task order amendment number 1 for COVID immunization services?
I'll make the motion to sign that task order 21074-31-103 for immunization services.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Motion been made and second to approve the task order as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
So my question was on our PEP grant. Have they made their payment yet this, after the first of the year? I know we were kind of waiting on that,
For what?
for the PEP grant.
Oh, the FEP grant?
Yeah.
I just got my deliverables done, and sent in last Saturday or Sunday. I
Okay.
can't remember what day it
All
was.
right, good.
Um,
I guess what we were looking for was the sanitarian
Oh,
wages, yeah.
they haven't said anything about that. They just said after the first of the year, so,
Yeah.
I would expect it would be coming anytime.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, awesome. Thanks for the great job.
Thanks, Teresa.
You and your
Thank you
staff
so
are doing,
much,
Teresa.
Oh,
Yep.
That's the last item on the agenda. Is there anything else to be brought forward?
I don't have anything.
I don't either.
I do have a request from Brooke Dolan to sign an application for a grant for her victims advocate.
Okay.
She's going to bring it down this afternoon, or whenever she gets ready to bring it down, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
It's the application for her grant to continue, I would believe. So, okay, seeing no other thing, we will adjourn at 11:19.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
You want to get copies of these out before you go?
It looked easy.